Hello and welcome to Business Live. Coming up, GOIL moves to clarify recent significant hikes in prices of products sold at service stations as it is now offering more options for consumers. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene rules out news of French bank Société Générale's exit would impact customer deposits.
I can assure you, with Bank of Ghana proactive strategy on this deposit safety, I don't think anybody will lose deposits. The customers shouldn't panic at all.
Monetary Fund expresses confidence of a June board meeting to approve disbursement of $360 million to Ghana following significant progress made on external debt restructuring deal.
The time it took for a country like Chad to get approval by the board of a program and then the first review, that time got shorter for Zambia and has gotten shorter for Ghana. So it's moving in the right direction.
We will be analyzing this. You'd want to stay. I am Emma Davis. Let's settle for the details. GOIL has moved to clarify recent hikes in the prices of products sold at its service stations. The market leader claims this is due to the rising cost of premium products that it offers to customers. There is more in the following report.
GOIL, which controls more than 40% of the petroleum sales market, in the past had one of the lowest prices at the pumps. This because GOIL uses market dominance to force other players to review their prices in cases when they had gone ahead to increase prices. However, over the past 2 months, that has changed. GOIL in most instances is the first to increase prices of petroleum products at the pumps. It also became one of the few oil companies to have one of the highest prices at the pumps anytime there are reviews in the pricing window for the petroleum product. GOIL claims this Raw 95 is a premium product and has very low octane levels. That is why it's being forced to hike prices in recent times. It, however, claims in a circular that it has released a more regular product for petrol and diesel. It should be priced like the normal products on the market.
Meanwhile, more oil marketing companies are expected to adjust prices at the pumps from today. It's coming after mixed reviews at the pumps last week, led by market leader GOIL.
The expected adjustment is mainly driven by the spike in prices of finished petroleum products on the international market and the cedi's depreciation. This means that most of these bulk oil distributors now need more Ghana cedis to bring in the same quantity of petroleum products. However, someone has to take care of this cost. That is why those that have already adjusted their prices have passed on this cost to consumers. But the dynamics have been a little bit different this time round. Instead of the increase across all the petroleum products, petrol has gone up and is selling at 15 Ghana cedis, 22 pesos, based on the quotes by the market leader GOIL. That of diesel has gone down and is selling at 14 Ghana cedis, 65 pesos. But in the case of Star, one of the fastest growing oil marketing firms, diesel has been kept unchanged at 13 Ghana cedis, 97 pesos, whilst petrol has gone down and is selling at 13 Ghana cedis, 99 pesos. But for many, the concern here is that could this latest round of increase now embolden the unionized transport operators to push government for an increase in fares? What about the impact on inflation going forward and the cost of doing business in the country?
Away from fuel prices, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene has ruled out that news of French bank Société Générale exiting African markets, including Ghana, would impact customer deposits. According to him, the Bank of Ghana has put in place stringent measures to protect depositors' funds. Therefore, any attempt by the bank to move out of their market will not affect the funds of their customers. He spoke on Marketplace.
What are we doing about remittances? Our remittances is nothing to rot home about. So the city is running. Currently, If the remittances have been captured very well, I am sure the city will not have been run like the way it's running. Unfortunately, when people are trying a diaspora bond, we are trying to deregulate the remittances and give it to certain institutions to benefit from the foreign exchange. And we must be very, very serious what the currency is doing to the economy. And we must get back and say, what do we want to do to ourselves? Even in Nigeria, of our economy, is talking about remittances from overseas, which is about 20 billion, and ours is 5.2 billion, according to World Bank 23 data. We are talking about, we are more receiving only 2.1. The rest, nobody knows where it goes. And all these things are impacting on the currency depreciation for the customer deposit. I think from what Bank of Ghana have done, they will be very secure. They will be very, very secure. I can assure you, with Bank of Ghana proactive strategy on this deposit safety, I don't think anybody will lose deposit. The customers shouldn't panic at all. And if you remember, in George's analysis, they said Lazar has been appointed to find a buyer. Any buyer that comes in would have nothing to do with the customer deposit. The deposit will be left intact. Because for that one, I trust the central bank so much that they will have regulations and system to protect customer deposit. So you shouldn't send a panic. I don't think this is the need for panic. For customers should always stay calm. Because with Bank of Ghana on this side, no money will be lost.
An economics lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Grace Asante Nkansa, is requesting that governments and the judiciary work effectively to improve the financial development of the country. Professor Asante Nkansa observes financial structural adjustment programs and other measures are yet to have the requisite impact in the financial sector for economic growth. Her request is in line with a study she conducted on the impact of financial development on economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa.
If you're looking at financial development, we've traveled far. The financial system is not bad, but we have problems with some of the legal system. Let's say I'm a business person, and then you visit me. Maybe I do business with you. Maybe I sell goods to you on credit, and you have to pay back. You default. How well is the legal system helping me to get my money from you? Or maybe I form partnership or other thing, business with some people, and maybe it goes bad. How well is the legal system trying to resolve some of these things so that people will be encouraged to go into partnership and other things? When we go into partnership, it turns out to be different thing. But the partnership helps us to, bring together a lot of funds to, grow our businesses. And then let's look at issues like President Kufuor's time. We brought the fast track called something for business people. Where is it? Where has it ended? It was good. Because let's say I'm a foreigner and I'm coming in. I know that definitely even if I give goods to some people on credit or maybe go into some of these things, or even a bank gives money to somebody and the person defaults, big money, and then the company defaults. How are we able to recoup some of these monies for the banks? All these things are little things that are not helping us. It's not helping us for the financial development to work well, to give us the growth that we are looking at. And let's look at government. How disciplined is our government? Look at the fiscal deficit that we have. So it doesn't make the business world trust us. The bank, some time ago, the bank said they were charging higher interest because of the inflation, and the inflation is coming as a result of some of these things. So if government will be disciplined, so that we reduce some of our deficits, it will go a long way to help the business world to grow and for the financial sector to be able to support the business world for the economy to grow.
The International Monetary Fund has revealed that it is confident of having its board meeting in June to approve and disburse some $360 million to Ghana. It follows significant progress made by Ghana on finalizing an agreement with bilateral creditors on the restructuring of more than $5 billion in debt. Catherine Patilo is Deputy Director at the African Department of IMF and has been speaking on a yet-to-air PM Express Business Edition this Thursday at 9 p.m.
So debt restructuring is always difficult, right? It's most difficult for the country itself going through it. Also, difficult for the creditors who take losses, and it takes time. So the common framework has been then a new process to bring official creditors together to agree on a debt restructuring for an individual country. Has it gone as smoothly as we would have liked, as fast as we would have liked? Definitely no. But I think actually we would not have made the progress that we have without it. And we are seeing improvements in the process. So the time it took for a country like Chad to get from initial agreement with the IMF to approval by the board of a program and then the first review, that time got shorter for Zambia and has gotten shorter for Ghana. So it's moving in the right direction of trying to ensure the process moves more efficiently and speedily. There's also a new global debt sovereign roundtable that the IMF and the World Bank and India's part of their G20 process introduced. And we think that can help also because it's a place where the representatives of the debtor countries, creditors, both the official, the bondholders, the IMF, World Bank, other people can come around and talk more about some of the general issues in a debt restructuring that influence the process. What does comparability of treatment mean? How should information be shared on debt sustainability between the parties? So if you have this kind of improvement in understanding on some of the key parameters, then this can help with future debt restructurings.
And you think that this whole engagement would help fast track the situation, because you're launching this thing in Ghana, and there are several criticisms that has come from even other African countries as well, that we saw that this was the way to go, but it hasn't moved as fast as we all wanted.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, look at the cases of Zambia where they have reached, the agreement with their official creditors, and then also recently with their Eurobond holders. And in Ghana, in January, an agreement also in principle with the official creditors. And Ghana having successfully completed largely its domestic debt restructuring. So I think, again, is it perfect? No. Is it moving in the right direction? That's what we keep pushing for.
Is it too late for any recommendations to be done to fast track the process?
We're always looking for ways to improve the processes. So that's why this Global Debt Sovereign Roundtable, I think, is important. More suggestions that are coming out of that.
And can Ghana take advantage of this roundtable thing that is the final?
Well, I think Ghana's process is on a very good path right now. And as you know, the Ghana team was here recently and reached a staff level agreement with the authorities on the program, and the next step will be then for them to reach agreement with their creditors, and that would allow us to move forward with completing the board by end June.
There's a need to analyze this further, so let's go on Zoom and engage economist Dr. Edu Osu-Sarkodie. Doc, thank you very much for your time. What do you make of this assurance coming from the IMF when it comes to disbursing the next tranche of cash for Ghana?
Well, it is a good news for the country. Remember that the debt restructuring was a prerequisite for us to secure an IMF program because our debt level was unsustainable and that we needed to start with the domestic debt exchange, which was about 80% complete. And then government has shifted its attention to the external debt exchange. I must say that we all know that the agreement was reached between the Paris Club and the government of Ghana in principle. So they agreed in principle to restructure the debt for us at the beginning of the year. So we all knew that the assurance was there, which the IMF wanted. The IMF just wanted an assurance, and that assurance was given to us. Where we are currently is about the different treatments. Remember that in the Paris Club, there are different countries that we have contracted loans from, and each loan has different, identity, different principal, different interest, different maturity period, different coverage, different reasons for contracting the loans. And so at this point, we want to treat the debt differently with different countries. I think that's what's delaying, because it will take some time, and the IMF is waiting for a memorandum of understanding between Ghana and the different external creditors at a bilateral level. And so it is good news that the IMF has decided to proceed with the board meeting with the hope that by that time, which is June ending, we would have reached some concrete agreement with the bilateral, or the Paris Club, which is the first external debt treatment that we are going to have, which is good news because it will give us some debt relief. Government will free funds to prioritize some essential commodities in the country in terms of its financing. And then the IMF tranche will also be released. World Bank will also release some funding for us. Today, we see that our city is depreciating, so we need the inflow of funds to show up the value of the city. It is good news, and I hope that things go on well as we all envisage by the end of June.
So you are quite optimistic things will be ready in June too?
Yes, I am optimistic. Like I said, the agreement has already been reached in principle. We are waiting for the different debt treatments, and I'm sure negotiations will go on well, smoothly. The IMF is also making sure that the Ghanaian economy does not sink, because Ghana is the star of Africa. Everybody is looking out to us. If our economy sinks, a lot will happen. And if you look at the posture of the IMF, they are intentional or they are deliberate about our recovery. So they will make sure that the Ghanaian economy recovers. We are on the path of recovery, as all the indicators have shown. And I'm positive that by June, we'll get the debt exchange from the bilateral level, and then the third tranche should be released to us to stabilize further our economy.
Okay, what then would you say could be the impact of this development on the broader economy?
Well, I think the first thing is the announcement. If you recall, when Ghana secured, even a staff level agreement before the board approval, the speculative demand around our currency reduced. So I envisage that the speculative demand will reduce. In other words, people would not, think negative or project negatively about the cedi further falling. And so that will help us. Just by the announcement will help us. And I'm sure the financial market reacts quickly to some of these pronouncements or announcements by the fund. It will also send a signal to foreign investors that Ghana is on course to restructure its debt and recover its economy, and therefore it is prudent for them to come here and do business with us. We need the investment in the country, so we are sure that investors will listen to this. They will hear these pronouncements, these announcements. They will come to the country to do business with us, and I'm sure the government of Ghana will also put in more efforts to make sure that the gains are consolidated and so that we don't return to the old days of high inflation. Everybody, all stakeholders will come on board. I'm sure media and academia will all make sure that the economy gets back on track, and then at the end of the day, it will benefit all of us. All we are all looking for is for the economy to recover, grow, and create jobs. Until we get there, I always say that we have not fully recovered. So we are on the path of recovery, and I will call on investors, both domestic and external, to do business with the Republic of Ghana. And we are only hoping that when things get better, the gate will be open for the Republic of Ghana to raise sovereign bonds on international commercial banks. It is one of the reasons for the cedi depreciation that we have experienced recently. Since January 2022, Ghana government has not been able to raise any bonds on the Eurobond market. And over the years, successive governments have shot up the value of the cedi by borrowing externally. And so if you're unable to borrow externally, your cedi will depreciate. If the debt is low, it is advisable to borrow. I mean, the economic principles suggest, but already our debt is so high, so that shouldn't be a priority, shouldn't be our first option. The first option is to stabilize, get to sustainable levels of our debt and then stabilize our economy and then make sure that we generate revenues internally to grow our economy. That, I'm sure, is the first point of action. And then later on, if our debt levels are reduced, then we can go to the commercial market to borrow some amount of money to supplement what we have been able to raise domestically.
Doc, you talked about the stability of the cedi. I would like to know, in your opinion, has the IMF brought about the needed transformation and impact on the economy?
Yeah, obviously, significant, progress has been made. Our cedi before the program was depreciating around 40%. Thereabout. It also pushed inflation to about 54%. And we have seen some relative stability of the currency. Except that, things, as the IMF member or person said, that things have not gone faster, the way we wanted it. Because debt exchange is a difficult thing to do, especially at the external level. And so the currency is reacting to some of these policies or these measures or these instruments. So yes, the cedi has been relatively stable, but you and I know that it is currently depreciating, and this is not the best we can get. So the IMF program has been beneficial to us. Everybody is seeing the figures, but we haven't gotten there yet. What we want is for us to have the full funding from the IMF. I think out of about 3 billion, we have received 1.2. So more than half are still yet to be received. And so we would not reap the full benefit of the IMF program when the money itself is given to us in tranches and the program is being, aligned to last for like 3 years. So in my view, I think that we'll reap the full benefit of the program at the end of the program, which is around 2026, when all the 3 billion has been exhausted. And then we have gotten the support, we have gotten all the reforms that we are looking for. The debt levels have come to sustainable levels. I think the government is projecting about 55% of GDP. The debt service burden should fall below 30% of revenue. When we get to this level, then we can confidently say that the program has fully finished on the program. But for now, we are enjoying it bit by bit, progressively. Right. And I'm not sure that anybody will say that we have achieved all that we want to achieve.
Thank you very much, Dr. Idowusu-Sarkodie, for your time on Business Live. He is an economist. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more.